Okay, let's talk about love songs. What are we really singing about when we sing about love? I mean, it's been the biggest theme in music forever, right? But the story these songs are telling, well, that's been changing, kind of quietly for decades now. So let's deconstruct it. So here's the big question. Have our love songs actually gotten, I don't know, sadder, simpler? We're gonna dig into the lyrics, the data, and even the hit-making machines behind the charts to figure this out. And trust me, the answer? It's probably not what you're thinking.
All right, first things first, let's get real. Love songs? They're not all hearts and flowers, are they? I mean, for every super sweet ballad, you've got another song that dives right into the darker, more complicated side of love. And look, this isn't some new thing, but it's a theme that just has this incredible staying power.
Okay, this lyric, wow, it's just so raw. It perfectly captures that awful feeling of betrayal, you know? That moment you realize love has just become some kind of game and the trust is, poof, gone. It is the ultimate musical revenge fantasy, right? Just hoping your pain keeps them staring at the ceiling all night. And then there's this classic, the timeless theme of forbidden love. It's all about that thrill, but also that ache of a secret you just can't tell anyone. I mean, it's a story that songwriters have been coming back to for decades and decades. You know, one source came up with this really powerful metaphor for a totally one-sided relationship. They called it feeding the birds. Think about it. You're the one putting out all the good stuff, all the resources, and the other person, they just take what they need, fly off, and, make a few other pit stops along the way. It's such a vivid, almost brutal picture of that kind of emotional imbalance. Okay, so we've seen these darker themes pop up in the lyrics. But here's the thing. This isn't just a gut feeling. It turns out this whole trend towards more negativity, more simplicity, it's something you can actually measure. Yeah, researchers have literally been analyzing the data behind the words in our biggest hits. And here's the real kicker. This is not speculation. A 2024 study in Scientific Reports actually put numbers to this. The data shows, plain as day, that over the last 50 years, the language in our most popular songs has become measurably more simple, more stressed, and more negative. And what's so fascinating is when you see the vocabulary shift in real time. Just look at this table of the most used words from the Billboard Hot 100. By 2021, it's not just that the words are simpler. A word like shit actually cracks the top list. I mean, come on, that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the changing tone of pop music. And this data right here, this shows why all that simplicity matters so much. This analysis basically confirms that the more repetitive a song is, the more likely it is to be a hit. So simplicity, it's not just some random trend. It is a proven statistical ingredient for chart success. Okay, if you wanted to boil this entire trend down to just one single number, this would be it, negative 0.78. What that means is, it's the mathematical proof. From 1973 all the way to 2023, as time marched on, the overall emotional tone of our music went down. We're not talking about a feeling here, this is a cold hard fact from the data. So all of this leads to a pretty big question, right? How do these simple, super repetitive, and often kind of negative songs become such massive, massive hits? Is it really just what we all want to hear? Or is there a system behind it all? Well, a huge part of the answer, believe it or not, starts in Sweden. Remember Ace of Base? When their song The Sign became a global smash, it proved that a whole new model for pop music was possible. It basically kicked off what people now call the Swedish pop machine. It was this new, collaborative, almost scientific approach to writing songs, engineering these incredibly catchy melodies and simple, universal lyrics to create these perfect, undeniable hits. Just look at how staggeringly successful that model became. A protege from that very system, a guy named Max Martin, went on to write or produce 22 #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. That puts him in third place, right behind John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Think about that. He has fundamentally shaped the entire sound of modern pop music. But the machine that makes the hits, it's had to adapt too. Because the way we all discover and listen to music, it has totally changed. And that has changed the very definition of what a hit song even is. I mean, the industry has gone through this absolutely massive transformation. We've gone from a world of physical sales, buying vinyl and CDs. Then we went through that brief but wild era of digital downloads. And now here we are, deep in the age of streaming. And let me tell you, streaming plays by a completely different set of rules. And that shift, it's completely changed what a hit even means. It used to be so simple, right? It was all about record sales and how much radio airplay you got. Now it's this super complex point system where longevity is king. The real goal isn't just to get to #1, it's to stay on the charts for weeks and weeks and weeks. Okay, so with all these changes in mind, let's take a look at what actually gives a song that kind of staying power. What is it that makes a love song, or maybe an anti-love song, a true classic that can resonate across completely different eras? Let's take a song like I Got You Babe, for example. A huge part of its appeal was that it was so earnest, almost a little clumsy, you know? It didn't feel all polished and perfect, and that's exactly why it worked. It felt real. It felt like a song that regular people could actually sing to each other. Okay, now let's fast forward 40 years to Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats. The appeal here isn't just about being relatable, it's about pure empowerment. It is 100% wish fulfillment. This incredibly satisfying revenge fantasy that listeners get to live out through the song. And it's amazing you can actually track this evolution over time, especially if you look at the cheating song subgenre. We've moved from the helpless heartbreak of someone like Patsy Cline to Loretta Lynn directly addressing the affair. Then Sugarland actually humanizes the other woman, all the way to Little Big Town promising like biblical levels of destruction. This sense of agency in these songs has just shifted so dramatically. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's basically a feedback loop. The sad, simple songs we hear on the radio are, yeah, partly a reflection of our collective mood. But, and this is a big but, they're also exactly what a data-driven music industry is built to produce, and exactly what the modern charts are designed to reward. Which, leaves us with one final provocative thought. The next time a song gets totally stuck in your head, just ask yourself this. Is that song reflecting how you already feel? Or is it actually shaping how you feel? Did a very, very effective machine just plant that emotion right there in your head?